Hi, welcome back to Dave's Independent View. You know, I've got an advantage in giving these independent views in that I'm not running for any political office, I'm not making any money, and I'm a father. And that means that, like I told my children when they were young, you can always come to me and tell me anything, and they'll always tell you and try to do for you what's best for you. Today we want to talk about Iraq, America, and war. A little bit about the philosophy of when America goes to war. America has been accused with good reason that in times past it has meddled with the affairs of sovereign nations. There are times to do that, but most of the time it's unjustified. And in this, America, in my opinion, has been wrong. And the reason I say that is if we go back to the Declaration of Independence, the Declaration states that if a government of a nation is unresponsive to the people or oppressive to the people of that nation, they have the right and they have the duty to overthrow that government. It's not the place of the United States to overthrow the government of a sovereign nation. It is the duty and the right of those people. Look to the southern border, what's going on in Mexico. It's the right and the duty of those people to change their government. Other places around the world, the same principle applies. Now, when is it our place? And we do have a place because we have great power, we're a great nation, we have a great responsibility sometimes to intervene in the affairs of other nations. Well, one time is when a nation is an aggressor. We saw that in World War II, we saw that with Saddam Hussein's invasion of Kuwait. When a nation is an aggressive nation, then it's our responsibility to step in and stop that aggression. When a nation is slaughtering its own people, then a case could be made because of humanitarian reasons that the United States and the world community should step in and help the defenseless people that are being slaughtered. In today's world, we have a new situation that has arisen, in that we have terrorist nations. These are nations that may not wage an aggressive open warfare, but one of a terrorist nature. And here we have the problem. How should the United States deal with nations that have an ongoing campaign of terrorism against us and against other civilized democratic nations? Should the United States invade those nations? Or should the United States deal with overwhelming force when it's determined that an attack has been launched by those nations? It's the easier way or the harder way. I think we saw the harder way taken in Afghanistan when it was determined that the attack against the World Trade Towers originated and was supported by the Taliban government in Afghanistan. The easy way would have been with overwhelming force, but the United States did not choose to go that way. We chose to go the harder way, which involved a sacrifice of American life, and drive the Taliban from power and change their government to a democratic government. If those circumstances are not in play, then it should be the right of any nation to determine their own form of government, whether it be democratic, whether it be autocratic, whether it be some sort of a religious government. That's up to them. And as long as they do not export violence, then their right to self-determination should be intact. Now we come to the situation of Iraq. The United States, and let me back up a minute. You know, I lived through this time, and I remember this time, and I'm someone that doesn't want to revise history. You know, there was worldwide support for the United States invasion of Iraq. There was support in the Congress for the invasion of Iraq. At that time, we did not know the status of Hussein's capability to export possible nuclear and biological weaponry, or the technology of it. And it was believed that he possessed weapons of mass destruction and was a menace and a threat. If you recall, he was given years since the first Gulf War, when he was expelled from Kuwait, to comply with United Nations resolutions, which were not the United States by itself, but it was by the world community, which he failed to do. He was given deadlines. He was given every possible chance, but he continued to play a shell game. The United States goes in. Now, we have verified that there are no weapons of mass destruction. Whether they went to another country, it's possible. We found evidence of his ongoing nuclear development program, and we deposed Saddam Hussein. We accomplished those objectives. Now, it's the responsibility of the Iraqi people to determine the government that they want, not the United States. The United States now must let the Iraqi people sort these things out for themselves.